An Arkansas woman sues a state trooper after a traffic stop video goes viral. And as drought conditions continue, area water suppliers urging residents to conserve water. Welcome to the Weekend Wrap. I'm Daren Bobb. The Centerton City Council voting to end its contract with Flock Safety after residents raised concerns about privacy and how the license plate reader cameras are used. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer spoke with the mayor and the city council member about this decision.
Centerton had 17 Flock safety cameras and license plate readers across the city, but the mayor says that most of these weren't fully operational. Centerton Mayor Bill Edwards says he wanted Tuesday night's city council meeting to be a chance for residents to speak up.
And a lot of folks just had a lot of questions about, where's the data going, who's getting the data, who has access to the data.
Centerton first started using Flock in 2024 with now 8 license plate readers and 9 other cameras, originally to help address reports of vandalism. But Edwards says the system has been slow to get up and running.
We haven't been provided the service that we asked for.
City Council member Wendy Henson says that became a real problem when a food pantry she runs in Centerton was vandalized and the Flock cameras didn't capture what happened.
When the residents speak out about something so passionately, we have to listen.
She says the council heard from residents concerned about their Fourth Amendment rights, along with questions about AI and cloud-based data.
We need to hear what their concerns were so that we could take that information back to try to come back with a better plan.
The city council voted unanimously to end their contract with Flock Safety.
I don't think surveillance is necessarily a bad thing. The process of that is what we have to nail down and make sure that it works along with our constitutional rights.
Flock claims its cameras helped solve more than 1 million crimes last year and located more than 10,000 missing people. Flock Safety CEO Garrett Langley says the company has guardrails in place to help prevent misuse as concerns continue over who can access the data.
It's a disappointing story when I see it, but I also go, look, this is working. This is showing that if you use a tool like Flock or other tools, you should be held accountable, regardless of whether you have a badge or you don't.
The mayor says all of the cameras across the city have now either been unplugged or also covered. And down the road in Pea Ridge, they've also decided to stop using these devices. In Centerton, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Centerton joins a growing list of cities in Arkansas that are reconsidering Flock. Many municipalities have either suspended the use of Flock cameras or terminated contracts with the company in recent weeks. Those cities include Pea Ridge, Cabot, Mayflower, Searcy, and Greers Ferry. While some cities have already made a decision on Flock, others are still weighing options. Greenwood City Council heard comments from residents on the matter this week. On Monday, city leaders heard directly from residents and a representative from Flock. Residents say there are still too many questions about privacy and how the data is used and where it goes after it's captured. A Flock representative says Greenwood owns its data, which is automatically deleted after 30 days unless law enforcement chooses to keep it. A Benton County Justice of the Peace says he wants Arkansas lawmakers to give voters a way to recall county elected officials. That's after State Representative Austin McCollum, the only candidate for Benton County judge, was arrested August 1st. Right now, Arkansas does not have a recall process for county offices like county judge. Justice of the Peace Jeff Dunn told 5 News reporter Taylor Howard McCollum's case is a perfect example of why he believes voters need one.
What I think would be important as we go through this process is that if we create a process that one can be removed or recalled, that the threshold is very high.
JP Jeff Dunn says he plans to work with state lawmakers to create a county-level recall or ballot removal procedure. The state legislature has attempted to create these procedures in the past, but failed. With that, he says he believes removing someone voters put in office shouldn't be easy.
It can't be that people don't, he didn't pave my road or my house got assessed for too much, so we're going to recall the judge. It's got to be something pretty substantial.
Because the person elected Benton County judge will have a lot of power.
It's a huge role. He is the chief executive of the county. He executes the ordinances, the state laws, etc. He's responsible for between 700 and 800 people.
Austin McCollum is currently set to take that job in January. The only way he would be able to give up his nomination is if he became seriously ill, die, or move out of Benton County, according to Arkansas law. McCollum's running against no one, which has Dunn worried.
What if he doesn't take the proper steps to remove himself from the ballot, and he shows up on January 1st and says, hey, I'm the judge? What are our options?
Right now, there aren't any. But if a county judge is convicted of a felony after taking office, a vacancy is declared and they're thrown out. Dunn says it's worth taking a look at extreme cases.
There are some spaces in between that we don't have any kind of coverage now, and that's what I want to talk about, right?
Dunn says he knows some Benton County voters are frustrated with how long this is taking.
I've had a lot of notes of you just need to remove him, and that's not an option. We have to follow the laws. You might not see it, but the entire leadership of this county right now is working on solving this problem and solving it in a way that makes sure that Austin McCollum is not the judge in Benton County.
In Benton County, covering news where you live, Taylor Howard, 5 News.
Former Rogers psychiatrist Brian Hyatt appeared in court via Zoom this week for his ongoing Medicaid fraud case in Pulaski County. Hyatt is facing state charges, federal charges, and more than 200 lawsuits, all stemming from alleged misconduct at the Northwest Medical Behavioral Health Unit where he served as the director. Hyatt is charged with 2 counts of Medicaid fraud. This week's hearing was related to ongoing efforts to test his mental fitness to stand trial. He is expected back in court next month. Also happening in Arkansas courts this week, Joseph and Kendra Duggar were granted a 1-year diversion in their ongoing child endangerment and false imprisonment case. The diversion will allow the charges to be dropped so long as the couple complies with the order's conditions over the next year. Those conditions include paying fines, following directions from the Arkansas Department of Human Services, and committing no more criminal offenses. Investigators in Crawford County are still piecing together evidence of a school shooting threat that led to a local teen's arrest. 5 News reporter Bo Russell was in Crawford County this week, speaking with law enforcement about what they know and what they're still trying to figure out.
As students head back to school this week, the Crawford County Sheriff's Office says tips about threatening posts made online led to the arrest of a 14-year-old. Deputies say the post referred to a gun, a list, and a plan. And after searching that teen's home, they found the handgun that was posted online. An investigation started with a tip about threatening posts made online. The FBI traced the activity to Crawford County, where deputies say they connected an IP address to a home and a 14-year-old.
The IP address to a physical address to a person, and all those parts have to match up.
On Monday, deputies searched the home. They say they found the same handgun and T-shirt shown in the threatening posts, along with 3 other rifles.
The parent didn't allow us to interview them. So it's unknown. It truly is unknown without an interview to see behind that, to get a good interview to find out what they were actually thinking and what their plan was.
Investigators say they still don't know which school may have been targeted. They haven't been able to interview the suspect. The arrest comes as students head back to class this week.
Every school year, we always take the extra precaution at the beginning of the year and try to look at everything with fresh eyes.
14-year-old is charged with threatening to commit an act of mass violence on school property, a Class C felony. The sheriff's office says that the guns belong to the juvenile's parents. They say they don't know exactly which school was being targeted, but that the FBI is still investigating. In Crawford County, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Video of an Arkansas traffic stop is spreading rapidly online, showing an Arkansas state trooper take an 18-year-old woman to the ground and then punch her in the face. Woman's attorney is now calling for a public use of force investigation. I want to warn you, parts of the video and audio may be disturbing. Catherine Rowley walks us through what happened.
What's the emergency?
My window is broke.
Arlano wrote that he could see a cold bottle of liquor in the car.
You trying to go to jail, ain't you?
If I wanted to go to jail, I would never stop. I wouldn't even study the alcohol limit.
While writing citations, Arlano called his sergeant who had stopped Hackett days earlier. Arlano wrote that the trooper had told him that Hackett had an open container of alcohol during that stop earlier. After that call, Arlano wrote that he decided a citation would not be enough and moved to arrest Hackett.
If she got an attitude, take her to jail.
Okay. All right, we'll do that.
The video shows Hackett asking why she is under arrest before the encounter escalates.
Yeah, let me get your left hand real quick.
Sir, what did I do?
Let me get your left hand real quick. Do not, look, do not resist, do not resist.
I need to call Mama.
No, stop.
But I didn't. Sir, what am I doing? Oh, no!
Stop.
About 10 seconds later, while he is kneeling over her, the video shows him punching Hackett in the face.
Fuck, turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
In his use of force report, Arlano acknowledged that he delivered what he called one closed fist strike to the left side of Hackett's face. During the struggle, Hackett cried for help, asking to call her mother, and tells the trooper he cannot punch her.
Turn around!
You cannot punch me!
The video also shows Arlano drawing his taser and warning Hackett he will punch her again if she does not turn over. He does not fire the taser.
The woman involved in that traffic stop, Alyssa Hackett, has sued the trooper since seen punching her, claiming her civil rights were violated. She has hired attorney Ben Crump to represent her in this federal case. Now members of the Arkansas Legislative Black Caucus are weighing in on the incident and the lawsuit.
Frustration and concern, but I'm a father of 3 daughters. So that's what my immediate reaction was, what's going on when an officer strikes a female.
State trooper has not been placed on administrative leave, but there is an internal investigation into this incident. Cell phones have been banned from Arkansas classrooms since last school year. Coming up, what one study says about how effective cell phone bans really are. We all know Arkansas is dealing with a maternal health care crisis. A new report has listed 5 counties within our area as maternity care deserts. March of Dimes released the report. That's the maternal health organization founded by President Franklin Roosevelt. Madison, Crawford, Franklin, Logan, and Scott counties are each listed in that report as providing little to no resources for families, with 0 birthing facilities and no obstetric clinicians per 10,000 births. For expecting mothers, that can mean traveling outside their county for pregnancy and delivery care. That lack of access can make it very difficult to get prenatal care and reach a hospital when it's time to give birth.
This is really worrisome because families should get high quality care regardless of where they live in this country. Your zip code should not determine the care that you get, and yet we know that it does in this country. And the trend is currently that things are getting worse, not better.
The state and hospital systems are working to connect women in healthcare deserts with pregnancy care. Medicaid doula coverage is also being implemented. Well, as the heat sticks around, you know what comes next. Water restrictions. Nearly 24 Northwest Arkansas communities are being asked to conserve water. Benton, Washington Regional Public Water Authority put out a notice saying if nothing changes, it could face a dire situation. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer has the regulations some cities have put into place.
It's safe to say Northwest Arkansas is in the thick of summer.
Breathable clothing, staying hydrated.
And just like Kara Lawrence, we're all feeling it.
Humidity has felt tangible this summer.
And so are the water systems.
It's always a challenge in the summer months to keep up with demand.
With the heat and very little rain, that's resulted in 17 communities across Northwest Arkansas now being asked to conserve water. And here in Taneytown, they're making that mandatory.
To some extent, it is absolutely getting worse every year due to the growth of Northwest Arkansas.
Growing pains hitting at the water pumps. The Benton, Washington Regional Public Water Authority, which provides water to Taneytown and other communities, says water usage is outpacing its ability to rebuild storage levels. They say the system is currently losing about 3 feet of storage per day.
They're spending lots of money upgrading their system, putting in larger pipes and more storage.
So for now, communities are asking residents to cut back. In Taneytown, that means following an odd, even watering schedule, hand watering lawns, and limiting lawn watering to 20 minutes between 5 and 7 in the morning. For Lawrence, it's about surviving the heat and adapting.
I haven't watered
Yes, my plants yesterday, so I guess I'll water them today and not tomorrow.
In Tawnytown, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
The demand for housing in Northwest Arkansas is rising, and so is the price tag. This week, a new apartment complex opened up in Rogers with 2-bedroom units renting below market rate. Well, Russell shows us how a group of local partners made this all happen.
3, 2, 1, cut! Yeah! With that, Olive Street Apartments officially opened in Rogers, a new complex built to offer housing below market pricing.
Market rates are just too difficult.
The development is owned by Community Development Northwest Arkansas, a nonprofit that already operates hundreds of units across Benton County. All of the apartments here will rent below market rate, and 11 will be affordable enough for people using Section 8 housing vouchers.
We all make Northwest Arkansas a community. We all need a place to live.
Casey Kleinhens with CDNA says nonprofit housing is unique.
What's special to me about a project like this one is when you have a nonprofit owner, you take away the incentive for return on equity. What we've created is a long-term store of value that's going to serve the community rather than serving an individual investor.
The project took a lot of partners, including Huntington Bank and the Walton Family Foundation.
Our team lives and works here in Northwest Arkansas, just like the residents of this project will be, and so we want to make a difference.
Each of these is a win when it comes to just bringing more units to market and giving people a better chance to call a place like this home.
The 2-bedroom apartments are nearly 1,100 square feet and available to rent right now. Managers here say they expect them to go fast. In Rogers, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Arkansas students are back in class for a second year under the state's bell-to-bell no-cell law. 2 local districts say they're already seeing a difference. Bo again shows us what's changed and what new research says about the impact of phone bans.
1 year after bell-to-bell no-cell went into law, Greenwood High School principal Jaron Myers says one of the biggest changes can be seen at lunchtime.
We have kids bringing board games up to the school. We have rounds of Uno being played at the lunch table.
Myers says before the ban, many students spent lunch on their phones, playing games, texting, and scrolling. But now, he says students actually acknowledge each other.
They're interacting with each other. They're just building relationships that they didn't build before.
In Rogers, Superintendent Jeff Perry says they've been seeing the same thing.
We saw a large number of students interacting more. We saw more personal connections during lunch. We saw more engagement in the classroom.
Perry says the district expected more pushback when the policy first started.
Worried about compliance. We worried about issues that we would have with discipline, and none of that really materialized.
But a new report from the National Bureau of Economic Research suggests taking phones away doesn't necessarily lead to immediate improvements. The study found that in schools with mandated lockable phone pouches, phone use dropped, but saw little change in things like test scores, attendance, or reported classroom attention.
And I wouldn't want anybody to think this is the silver bullet, because there's not one.
Perry says the law was partly driven by concerns over student anxiety, depression, and stress.
There are multiple factors behind the rationale why students are struggling with so many different issues.
While he says getting students away from phones and social media can help, schools only control about 6.5 hours of their day.
If parents, if community members, if we don't better self-regulate, we can't make those changes and can't make those permanent changes in the 6.5 hours that we have students here.
Covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
This year in Springdale, the school district is giving parents a way to find out if they're eligible to save money on school lunches. The district has people manning a call center now through October, helping you over the phone. Families can also get the help, all the information they need to apply for free and reduced price meals. District says online and in-person applications are also still available. The hope is the call center program will just provide another option for families to get their applications in outside of school hours.
It really removes a lot of obstacles. If they have questions during the day when they're filling that out, they can pick up the call and call a trusted individual, one of our staff members, and ask them questions about filling that out.
Service will have operators who speak in English, in Spanish, and in Marshallese. This week, the Lowell City Council gathered for a special meeting to discuss and ultimately change how items are added to their agenda. The change also could affect how easily an issue that important to you gets in front of the council. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard has more.
Yes.
Yes.
A packed crowd inside Lowell City Hall.
Several council members for the last few months have been trying to get several items on the agenda. One of them was ignored twice. I was told no twice on 2 different ordinances, and that shouldn't be.
Councilmember Adrian Flores asked that a special meeting be held Wednesday night to change who has the power to put those items on the agenda. Before Wednesday, if any item wasn't approved for the agenda, it took 6 council votes to add it. Flores says that gave the mayor too much control over what council members could bring forward.
You wouldn't want the president telling Congress what they can and cannot hear or pass before it gets to his desk. He does have a veto power in post, not a pre-veto.
Now, any council member can put something on a future agenda with at least 72 hours notice and without the approval of the mayor. Mayor Chris Moore says that review is part of why the current process was in place.
Staff needs to take the time to have it go to the legal, so we can definitely throw a wrench in quite a few things. And I've never stopped council until Mr. Flores and the 2 items that he's placed. And I don't plan on continuing to stop.
Right across the street from JB Hunt Technology Center sits the new City Hall and Police Department Lowell bought back in November for nearly $6 million. Flores says he hopes to use the new rule to eventually get an issue he's passionate about, selling the 2 buildings back in front of the council.
Well, earlier this year, I did introduce an ordinance to sell the buildings because I and several others believe that they are a poor financial decision.
That was Taylor Howard reporting. We'll be right back now with 3 things to know for next week and another video from the 5 News Vault. As we close out this week, 5 News looking ahead to next week. Here are 3 of the stories we'll be following as they develop this upcoming week. Edgar Lara, the man accused of killing LaFleur County Deputy Walker LeMay during a standoff this year, is expected in court next week. He's facing nearly a dozen criminal charges. Last time he was in court, both the defense and prosecution asked for more time to prepare their cases. It's unclear at this time what will happen at this new hearing. Fayetteville City Council set to consider even more data center regulations after passing new rules just a few months ago. The changes include penalties for violations and would require data centers to submit annual reports to the city's planning division. The city has already had rules addressing water and electricity use. On Friday, Fort Smith will be officially naming a street after NBA champion Isaiah Joe. He's a Northside High School graduate and former Razorback who in 2025 won an NBA champion while playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Street naming ceremony on North 25th Street is scheduled for August 21st. Our Vault clip of the week looks back on an American institution at the height of its prominence, the Northwest Arkansas Mall in 1987. Check it out.
They're calling it the new star in Northwest Arkansas, and mall management pulled out all the stops today to celebrate the completion of their $2.5 million renovation. A symphony orchestra, a parade of storybook characters and senior citizens, an official ribbon cutting, balloons and confetti, a gospel choir. These were just the start of a full week of activities at the mall. The mall has a new look, a new food court featuring 11 new restaurants and a large picnic area. And this morning they were all getting good reviews.
I think it's really neat. It's a great improvement.
I think it's beautiful. We're really enjoying it.
Enthusiasm, the crowd, the noise.
What do you think of all this? But this major facelift, 2 years in planning and 6 months in completion, is a business move. And today, former mall manager Don Duffy said the renovation will have major economic impact on the area.
In excess of 200 jobs for people here in the community have been created as a result of this.
The mall businesses and managers are hoping the improvements will convince shoppers to come here more often, to stay longer, and of course, to buy more. Local officials are hoping it works. If nothing else, bringing more customers and more money into mall businesses will mean more sales tax dollars for local government. In Fayetteville, this is Steve Voorhees reporting for the News People.
And we thank you for joining us for another Weekend Wrap. We hope to see you again next week.